Welcome to another My Outlander Purgatory recap. This week, we continue our Season 7 coverage with a recap of the Season 7 Part 2 premiere, Unfinished Business. Ready? Then pour yourself a wee dram, settle in, and let's do this. Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
I'm Tracey.
I'm Carol.
And we are My
Outlander
Purgatory! We are back. We really kind of were last week because we did a preview, but I can't believe that it has been this long, that Outlander is back, that all is right with the world, and that we're doing this again. And it truly has been forever because I've forgotten how to do everything.
Holy cow, you're not kidding. I forgot what I did to take my notes when I was watching. I forgot how to record on Zoom.
I know.
I forgot a lot of stuff. What are you drinking this evening?
What am I drinking? Okay, I'm having this last little bit. I didn't bring the bottle upstairs, but this is a nice red. So here's it. This is sort of newsy. Like, if you guys are on the East Coast, I'm sure, not just New Jersey, but on the East Coast, we have been in drought central. Like, you would think we lived in Death Valley at this point because it hasn't rained here for
like a month.
Over a month, I would say. Yeah. Over a month.
Right.
No rain at all.
Right.
And today it finally started, but the temperature also dropped. So it was this total plethora of weather where it was rain, little bits of snow, a couple of things of freezing rain, but it's just cold and yucky and whatever. So it's a red wine night, you guys. And this is, I don't know the vintner, but it's a Nebbiolo that I believe we got through our wine club that we're in. And it's quite tasty. You, Carol?
Well, I felt the same way as you, that it's just that kind of chilly, bone-chilling night. Went walking on the Manasquan Boardwalk, and it was freezing and almost raining, and we were bundled up. So stopped and got a little coffee at Green Planet. And then I was like, oh, I'm really enjoying my coffee, and it'll keep me awake. But what am I going to do? So I had to touch it up a little bit. Woohoo! So I am having a little coffee, a little McTavish bourbon. It's all good.
Very, very, very fitting. Very good. Very good. Yeah, this is very nice. So Lallybroch to all of you. Welcome back. We're glad to be back.
And just to let you know, McTavish bourbon apparently goes very well with sugar-free caramel. Or caramel, depending on how you say it.
I would think it would go very well.
It does.
I'm sure there are probably notes of caramel, some caramel somewhere.
It's nutty, it's oaky. I'm just making that up. I don't know. So anyway.
Yeah, so all right, I know this isn't really the start of a new season. It's kind of halfway through season 7. But we do have a little tradition that we do when we come back from a Droughtlander, if you will, which is that we have our books on display up there the books where the previous season or part of the season have come from.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we can safely say that A Breath of Snow and Ashes, we're done. Do you think so?
Bye-bye. Bring on Echo.
I can't think of anything that we have done that we still have to do in Breath of Snow and Ashes. So we're going to say goodbye to that one.
Bye.
And we already have Echo in the Bone up there because we did a lot from Echo in the Bone in the first half of the season.
Right.
But now we have another book to think about, right? Do you know what it is, Carol?
Moby?
And this is one, I don't know if this, oh my God.
Are you basically saying that you're going to put them side by side because we don't know how much, if any, or all of Moby is going to be in part of in season 7B?
Well, we've already had part of this episode is from Mo.
See, this is where I can't keep them all straight. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, like, okay, like I can't keep them all straight either, but like the whole Roger Buck thing
Yeah.
is 100% from Book 8. And
Yeah.
we'll talk about how, like, what a great job they did integrating. So the stuff with Jamie and Claire and Ian going back to Scotland is absolutely from Book 7. And the stuff with Roger and Buck and them ending up at the phrase at Lallybroch prior to any of the events of Outlander happening is definitely from Book 8. But like you as a non-book reader would never know that because they did such a good job of splicing all those events together. Right. But in any case, here's this book. We happen to love this book. This might be our favorite because I don't know if this flips stuff here. It might, but you can see.
It looks normal to me. Yeah.
Okay. That this says, this is a signed copy from Diana to me, and it says, remember Paoli. And you might wonder that. And like maybe if you guys have been around for a while, you might know why. But if you haven't been, we'll show you. I don't know if you can see this here. But something in this book was an idea that Diana figured out because she read it on Outlander Purgatory. And it was about, well, Carol, you tell it.
She mentioned the Battle of Paoli and Echo. She mentioned Lord John Grey's uncle. There really was a somebody or other Grey at the Battle of Paoli. There goes my memory again because I knew at one time. And she wrote about him in the book. So when I read Echo, I was like, I'm telling you the Battle of Paoli. So I, at that point, years and years and years ago, went to visit the Paoli battlefield with my kids and my friend Anne and took a lot of pictures, and I wrote up a blog post and I did some research, and I found out that you got to read about the Battle of Paoli, but they were ambushed. So for 50 years after the Battle of Paoli, the United States battle cry when they were going into battle was remember Paoli. For 50 years, they would yell, remember Paoli. So I thought that was really cool. Blog posted it, never thinking anything of it. Diana at some point saw it, and then we got Moby. And then there's an entire chapter called Remember Paoli, and she gave us thank you, credit at the end, letting everybody know, and, you know, and that was just like the greatest moment.
Did she mention the Battle of Paoli like in the book prior to it? I don't think she did. I don't think she knew about it, and I think she just read your blog and like came across this and was like, "Oh, it's not fetching."
Maybe that was it because
I think that was it.
If you go to the Paoli battlefield, I have a million blog posts. So go to my Outlander Purgatory and do a search for Paoli. Paoli.
Yes, because what this says is, for people who didn't like read it when I stuck it in front of the camera, for their lovely photos of the Battle of Paoli, which drew my attention to the rebel rallying cry, remember Paoli, and the discovery of Lord John's unpopular. So we're gonna put this up with Echo and the Bone. We're gonna put a foot. Come on, baby, wait.
And I have so much more to say regarding Moby, but I'm not going to because it's, once again, it would be spoilers. So I'm gonna this is gonna be a very interesting second half of a season, because if they're already dipping into Moby, so we're gonna be like, I loved the whole Jamie Roger juxtaposition, Lallybroch.
Oh my God, I know.
So we're going to have an Echo Moby, you know, you don't know what's coming, what they're going to do. It's really fascinating. And I always love that about the show, because if anybody knows, I'm not really a rereader. I'm not really a rewatcher. Not going to say I haven't read Outlander 3 times, the original, but so I like to be surprised. So when they mix stuff up, I'm like, cool. That's why I didn't even remember that was from Moby. I kind of feel like Echo and Moby are sort of like Drums and Fiery Cross. Diana always said like Drums and Fiery Cross are like one big story. You
Well,
know what I
sort
mean?
of. Yes, because the reason is because Echo is the one book in this series that ends with a billion cliffhangers. Not just one, like 10,000 cliffhangers. So there was already a story set up for Moby, um, like, at the very beginning, like the very beginning of Moby, probably more than the very beginning, is a continuation of what's been happening in Echo because there were so many loose ends to tie up.
Right.
So that's why it's relatively easy. I don't know, whoever had the idea, I mean, we'll get into that, but whoever had the idea to splice those two things together, like them going after James Gum in Silence of the Lambs, and like they're like, Clarice, stand down, because we've got him, and we're like going after his house. And it's like boom, 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 boom. And then
Good afternoon. Sorry to bother you. I'm looking for Mrs. Lippman's family.
it was like right out of that playbook. And it was
Did you
awesome.
know? Did you know while you were watching it? I was, and I mean, this is part of what we'll discuss, but I was like, I knew. I was like, it's not. It's not. I don't know what. It will be cool. I was sitting there like, this will be so cool if they rewrote this in such a way. But I knew. I was like, come on now.
I mean, I knew because I've read the books, but like, tell us in the comments if you're a non-book reader, did you have any idea that that was going to happen?
Yeah, but you read the books, but you don't know how they might have changed things. You know what I mean? So
No, I mean, I absolutely, I had no doubt in my mind because
Yeah,
I've read
same.
the books
Same.
and because I knew where they were in each of the time in the Echo and the Bone timeline and in
Right.
the Moby timeline.
Right.
I was like, right away, I was like, oh my God, they're Silence of the Lambsing us.
Right.
They're
Right.
fugitiving us.
Yes. And it's sort of like filmmaking 101 too. Like, that's like a really cool thing to do, to the knock on the door, the person answering the door, making you think that that's who's on the other side, but it's not.
But
So
it's
it was
not,
cool.
right.
Yeah.
Right. All right. But we're getting ahead of ourselves here. So we've done the official changing of the guard, and are we ready to jump into
Hell
episode
yes.
709? So
Hell
episode
yes.
709, oh, it's not called Turning Points. I didn't overwrite that. It's called Unfinished Business.
Business.
Business, of which there was a lot. Our writer is Barbara Stefanski. I don't know if that's a new writer on here. It didn't sound familiar. And the director, and I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher your name, so sorry. Stuart Svasund. I think that's it. Okay, so we get a cold open, and it's Jamie's narration, and Jamie, I read somebody online in a comment for something said this, and they're like, it's a very smart comment. They got out so much exposition and so much backstory with these like minute and a half of Jamie narrating what happens here, because they go back to Scotland, they go bury Simon Fraser, they what they have to do, they do his funeral, they get all that stuff settled, the three of them ride this way and that way and this way and that way, and
Let me
then
pull dark.
it was totally pulled dark. And then they do that, and like, honest to God, it just cry every time. They do that shot from sort of their perspective, but you see it on the ground, and it's like the camera goes whoop,
Yeah.
and there's Lallybroch, and
Yes.
I'm just like,
And like, when you've been, are you so glad now that you've been there? Forgive me, guys. I don't want to be loud. I feel like my stool is making too much noise. Tracey, weren't you like, oh my God, this is such a different experience now that I've been there?
Sort of. I mean, we saw it like, this isn't the first time we've seen it since we've been there.
I don't know why it's affecting me more now. It really is. You're right. We've seen it since, but it's just in this. Maybe it's just because it's been so long or whatever, but it's really affecting.
Well, I think we hadn't seen it like in its like, we saw it where Bree and Roger were there, and they had that trailer there, and they're like, construction, blah 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 blah. So it didn't look like the real Lallybroch of the 1700s Lallybroch.
Mm-hmm.
But to see it like the way it was sort of meant to be used, yeah, I mean, it was just like, it's going to get me every time. It's going to get me every damn time.
Right.
So this is a letter that, because remember that Jamie and Claire have been writing letters to Bree, that they found last season.
Right.
And so this is another letter. And so it's, 90 seconds of narrating the letter, and then we go to the starting. I think they added a couple of scenes in the starting, but a lot of it is the same from last time.
Yeah,
mean-
I sat through it, but I'm trying to see if I wrote anything else. Just Bree driving her new red Pinto, or is that a sob? I didn't remember any of this either. The Simon Fraser back to Hugh, and I didn't remember why they. I hate to say it, I don't remember any of that.
I mean, that was sort of like I know, and this is where I get a little like, was it the shower, was it the books, or whatever. I mean, originally, Jamie in the books goes back, like his primary reason is to go get his printing press. Because he's gonna, get that settled. And I don't even remember, guys, just forgive us because we're not gonna remember a damn thing. I'm not gonna remember
No.
like what happened at the last episode of the 708, whatever.
Yeah, well,
But
like
in the book,
15
he
years
goes-
ago when we started making videos, we had much better memories. So
I know. So yeah, so in the books he's going to get his printing press. I do think that he goes. I feel like the Simon Fraser thing is a thing in the books as well. I don't really
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
But obviously they're going back to Scotland to bring. That's the other thing that like Jamie promised Jenny all those years ago. I will find Ian and I will bring him home. So that's why. That's the other reason for going, is that he's fulfilling this promise that he made to Jenny. So obviously Ian is pretty stressed because he's quite a different young lad than he was when he left Lallybroch. But before that, I know. I'm looking at my notes here. Sorry. I really did like the Easter egg, and I'm like, well, can we talk about the Easter egg first? Did you know what it was?
I had no idea.
I had no idea. I mean, obviously it's a grave.
Please.
Obviously
I didn't
that's
remember.
Jemmy like tracing the thing, tracing the letters on it.
Yeah.
But I had no idea what it was. So I really liked like how it all sort of like came
Yeah.
together at that.
Right.
And then we get a little bit of just like before we're back in Scotland, we get like a little bit of Roger and Buck. There they are. They've made it through the stones. Buck is not in very good shape. Buck needs to get in better physical shape, go to the gym a little bit before he goes to the stones next time, because that takes a lot out of you. You want to have like some stamina to go through the stones.
Right.
But they're okay. They split up. Roger's gonna go over to Lallybroch, and Buck's gonna go to Inverness, and they'll meet up later.
Something just hit me that I now
What?
have to hold on to until the end. Like something huge just hit me, and I'm like, oh my God. Like, you guys, I'm sorry, but the time travel and the oopsie, we ended up, Jamie's in France when they get there, and just it's so confusing. It's so confusing. And then right now, as Tracey's talking, I'm like, oh yeah. So I'll mention that when we get to it.
I mean, and it is. I mean, that's probably the downside a little bit, in that it's confusing when it happens in Moby, and like we're just following Roger, and like we don't expect any cutting back and forth. If for non-book readers and book readers, it is kind of like, okay, wait, where are we? What? Where? What? Where? What?
Yeah, it is
Little
just a
bit.
little, yeah. And I had to laugh when you're talking about Buck and Roger like coming through. And I don't know, you know me, I'm always like viewing this through a bit of a humor lens. And I just kind of was laughing that like first Buck's like, we'll find him, just like Jamie has said many times over the years. And I was like, keeping it in the family. Like, he totally sounds like Jamie, number one. And number two, I just kind of had to laugh because Buck's like, all right, I'm gonna go to Inverness. You go to Lallybroch. Like, Roger's like, oh, he would know, Jen would know to go to Lallybroch. So they split up. And then he just sort of like sauntering. I'm like, could you get a move on, please?
Yeah. Oh, Roger, you mean like at
Yes.
the street? Jamie
Yes,
washing his
Buck,
hands.
Buck out of shape. Buck takes off. And Roger's just like, oh, right, I guess I'll go to Lallybroch.
I wonder how far of a walk it is from Lallybroch to the stones. Because those are the stones. I mean, those are like the
Yes.
stones, right?
Yes.
Those are the stones.
We drove from Mid-Hope to what's it called? That's supposed to be that's the real.
Well, no, I mean,
Clavic
like,
Cairns is the real location of Craignadown.
okay. All right. Well, it's gonna take a while. It's gonna take at least a good day, I would say, to walk over there. But
As long as it takes to ride your horse from Val. Oh, not gonna say that. Never mind. Caught myself.
all right. So we see very little of Bree in this episode. In fact, I watched it once and totally forgot she was in it because I was like, oh wow, Bree's not in the episode at all. And then when I watched it again, I was like, oh yeah, she's in it for like 2 seconds.
Okay,
Let me just see her.
And my little brain, I'm sorry, did I forget that Mandy has flaming orange, red, gorgeous hair? I just kept thinking of the books when she has like black hair, like black curly hair, like Jenny. And they show her in the car with Bree, and I'm like, oh my God, did I forget? Is this more than I forgot?
I totally forgot that. I don't know what
gorgeous, fiery red hair.
Well, no, I mean, I saw that in the show, but I couldn't tell you what Mandy looks like in the books. Don't know.
Yeah,
couldn't tell you what Jen
like
looks like either.
She had black curly hair like Jenny.
I feel like book Jenny has curly hair, yes, or like wavy hair, like show Jenny's hair is definitely straighter, but
oh, totally, yeah.
Well, speaking of show Jenny, shall we get on to her?
100%.
So they get to Lallybroch, and they're sort of standing around, door opens, and there is Jenny.
Oh my God.
So, can we start with a slow golf clap for Kristin Atherton?
I'm going to do a fast golf clap because my girl is hitting it.
She was great. I thought she was great. She was fantastic. There's a lot of pressure there because everyone loves Laura Donnelly, who was the original Jenny.
Right.
There's a lot to live up to, and I thought she hit it out of the park. I thought she was really, really, really great. She resembles, she doesn't really look like Laura Donnelly in the face, but like physical wise and physicality wise, she's exactly the same. She's like a tiny little thing. She only comes up to here on Jamie, but she's got that strong kind of physicality.
Right.
I thought she was so good. I actually thought, and this is really funny, and we'll get more into this. I thought that she really looked in the face that she looked like Marceline.
Oh, that's interesting.
I know. Who, is the daughter of Leary, and not really Jamie's daughter, although it's like her stepdaughter. But I thought they were really, really, really similar. So yeah, Kristin Atherton, fantastic job.
And I have to tell you that she came out and it was just bizarre after all these years. It was just your brain. And at first I was kind of because I always am just like that. I don't embrace change. And within seconds I was like, oh my God, I love her. So that didn't last very long at all. And I also felt like within the scene that it was very powerful, her performance with Ian, that she hadn't seen him, her own child, in so many years. And I thought, of course, this is the way my brain works. I started thinking about back then, and they didn't have photographs. You don't always remember. Keelan and I were talking about this. My daughter and I were talking about this last night, with Tom. You don't always remember someone's face unless you're looking at a photograph sometimes. And I'm thinking to myself, she's touching Ian. And the dots don't mean squat because he is her son. And he's her long lost son come home. And I'm thinking to myself, she didn't have a photo of him all these years. You know what I mean? I don't know. I thought it was
right. It was only up here. I mean, maybe maybe she had like a drawing or something, but like even that wouldn't be, it's been like 10 years. It's been like 10 years.
It's been a long ass time. It's been an LAT.
I know. It's been 10 years.
Yes.
And you're right. She didn't even flinch because, of course, Ian is very nervous about that, obviously. Doesn't even flinch. It's just like, get over here, my son. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Right. Right.
And I laughed a little bit because she was like, then she sees Jamie and Claire there and she goes right to Jamie, whatever. And Claire's like, oh, Jenny, like,
I have stuff to say. So
and it didn't hit me. Wait, I just want to say it didn't hit me till just now that was intentional because it was meant to kind of remind us all that there's still a little bit of like this with them.
okay. So as I was telling Tracey, somebody, and God forgive me, please, I don't remember what the screen name was. The person who mentioned the other day after our preview video, we've been getting comments, and somebody made a comment saying that she likes to watch our recap of episode. Are you ready for this? 201, first episode of season 2, because my late husband Tom was in. It was the first time we ever got him on camera, and he starts going off about Claire because Claire drove him nuts. And he at one point was like, I've had smallpox. And she said, if that's what he said, I don't even remember, but she said like it makes her laugh every time she sees it. I don't know why, but there was a lot of Tom in my brain during this episode. I don't know why, but this was the first thing. Maybe it came out because I read that comment, but Jenny sees Jamie and hugs him. And at first she looks at him and you think, uh-oh, she gonna start yelling at him? And then she just grabs him, because Jamie always felt guilty, like for not, getting Ian home faster or whatever. And they're hugging and they're having the moment of a lifetime. and Claire interrupts it. And all I can hear is Tom being like, if it's not about Claire, it ain't Claire. Everything's got to be about Claire. She can't even let him have a minute with his sister he hasn't seen in 10, 20, how many years? So I had to mention that when you said that.
Oh my God, that was too funny. That was too funny. It's funny you should say Tom because I was thinking about Tom too in this episode. I think like
a couple times.
I mean, right? I don't want to we sort of see the route this is going down. I don't think it's a super huge spoiler.
Yes.
Although we will get to the fact where like Ian is literally the most healthy looking dying man I've ever seen in my whole life. But we sort of see where this is going down. And, I think that's kind of like wrapped up in, Tom and everything. So it's, but it's a memory that like kind of, because it's been 5.5 years.
5.5. It'll be 6.
Closer to 6. Jeez, Mary and
And I still haven't been on a date. So if any of you know,
you really haven't, like, no dates.
No dates. I've been asked out, yes, but I have never been on a date. I've not held so much as a hand. All right, anyway, back to the matter at hand.
Okay. Well, that's a separate video. That's like let's talk about which apps. Is there an Outlander dating app?
Oh my God. We should totally make this hilarious.
We should make one.
That would be so funny if we made this into a thing, like find Carol and Outlander date.
Oh my God. All right. We'll put a pin in that because that's coming. Oh yeah. Outlander Tinder.
Outlander. Did we just come up with something? Shh, don't tell anyone.
Okay. All right. So anyway, I mean, this is like old home reunion day because like out comes, young Jamie and Michael, and we hear that Michael's wife has just died. Now, there's it's on a book. It's a story or a novella or whatever, because
Right.
Diana writes a lot of other stuff.
Yes.
But there's a novella that is about Michael, and Joan is in it. So
Oh,
all during this
yeah.
episode, I was like, wait, are they introducing a third like source text into this? Because I just can't, my brain can't do it. My brain
Oh my
can't do
God.
it.
Oh
I'm
my
sure
God.
I doubt you read it, but I did, and it was very good. But like, I'm like, well, wait, I think we find out about Michael's husband in Echo the Poem, but I'm not sure. I
I'm
don't know.
sure I've read that. I've read pretty much everything. By the way, so I have a quick question that never came to my mind. So this prequel is coming out. Is this the
Uh-huh.
same actor?
That's gonna play Brian?
Yeah.
No, he's got to be younger. This is the prequel, so it means it's before Jamie was born.
Well, I mean, a prequel could still be when Jamie was in France, but okay.
No, that when Jamie was in France, it's now. It's the quo,
Well,
if
that's
you will.
I almost view that as a flashback. Do you see? Do you see how confusing this is?
All right, moving on. So okay. So we go in, we call everyone into Lallybroch, and we see Ian. And it's Stephen Craig. If you watched our preview last week, I literally like watched this and was like, "Who's that guy?" I watched this part like in the trailer when they show him, and Carol's like, "It's Ian," and I was like they
Yeah.
did a good job of aging him. Like he didn't look like the old like not young Ian, like when he was younger Ian.
Yeah.
You know, in the gray, whatever.
Yes.
But that said, like he's not well, but what I wrote down is you could have fooled me from the looks of him because he's the healthiest looking dying man ever.
He's the hottest consumptive man on the planet. Is that a God? I'm sure that's not a word.
He looked younger than all of them. I mean, I don't know whether like, budgetary reasons. Like I always think back to A Beautiful Mind. You saw that movie, right?
Oh God.
So at the very end, like Russell Crowe wins the Nobel, and the aging makeup that they used on him was fantastic. It was really, really good. Sorry, I'm just like, okay. It was like fantastic. But then you also see Jennifer Connelly in the audience, and clearly they ran out of like a makeup budget. Like they blew it on Russell Crowe because her aging makeup was terrible. It was like so bad. So it's kind of like, okay, well, like maybe they just didn't quite like have enough in the budget to really like do a good aging on Ian, or like a good, like make him look gaunt, like it was wonderful to see Stephen Craig again. It was fantastic. He's great as always, but yeah, he looked pretty good for being all consumptive and stuff.
And I'm sorry because I keep interjecting, and this video is going to be 10 hours long, but I really loved seeing him. Like I remember in the beginning, I'm going to be honest with you. Let's go back 10 years ago when, he was cast and he didn't look like he looked in the books. And I was like, me. And now he comes out that door and I'm like, I love you, Ian. I love you, Ian. Like, I just love him so much that it was so amazing to see him.
He is. He's just like a warm hug. He's just like, Ian Murray. He and he and Jenny are just so perfect for each other because she is like I don't want to say she's the beta who presents as the alpha. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But but in reality, he's
yes.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it's great. It's great to see him again, but he, Claire, of course, because it's Claire, knows right what's wrong with him. It's the consumption. She can't fix it. There you go. And so, Jamie and Claire go up to the Laird's chambers and, talk. I will say, and it's been a long time coming. And I know we've complained loud and long over the years that they finally have the Jamie wig right.
Oh my God, I thought they're so good. I think I have that in here.
Jamie looks great. Like,
okay.
Like perfect.
I think that tonight's theme is going to be juxtaposition because on the one hand, I'm like, I literally said the same thing in the scene that hasn't come up yet. I went, my God, they finally got this wig right. Do you remember back to like,
Uh,
oh
season
Lord,
5-ish,
I thought it was season 2. We were like, what is that? Anyway, it is so good, comma, however, it really bothers me that no, I think it offends me that he is not at all gray and all the women are gray, but Jamie's trotting around with his beautiful hair. And I'm like, why doesn't Jamie have some gray running through that? He hasn't lost his hair, and his hair is the same color. Not
well, I think
fair,
Ian got
man.
all his gray.
Yeah, clearly. Jamie's gonna wash that gray right out of his hair, apparently.
I don't know. It doesn't really. It bothers me more. If something's bothering me more about gray, it's that Claire's gray is like super gray in one scene and not gray at all in another scene.
Yeah.
But like, I digress. Whatever.
Yeah.
I just like that struck me. Like there were a lot of little tiny scenelets of Jamie and Claire in the Laird's room, and that was like what I took out of them. That
What
his wig is looking really good.
what I took out was home is where the heart is. Shut up, Claire. Stupid ass cliches. Just shut up. Can't you ever like enjoy the silence?
um So we have a little chat with the family, and we learn all about like Michael's doing really well with the wine biz. He must be working with Uncle Jared or cousin Jared. Maybe I forget if he took it over, whatever, but like it's all going well. But really what you just see is like Ian is, I mean, even though he looks great, he's like,
Oh, it was upsetting. Like I just wanted to give him my inhaler.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But yeah, so he's basically like, okay, you know what? I want to chat with Lily and we and I have some things to discuss. Like, so everybody else, get out.
And I loved how the kids are like, like touching his face and he looks scared. They're just like, wow. And he's like,
They have this discussion, and it's really lovely. I mean, it's really, really, really
I
nice.
know, I know, I know.
Ian just basically like gets him up to speed on everything. We hear the whole story about how he went and saw Emily and met Swiftest of Lizards. Now, here's where I get a little bit like the book readers are gonna have to like remind me about this. Ian's basically like, yeah, he's all mine. Yep, he's McKinnon. You're a grandpa. And I'm like, do we really know? Like,
No, it reminded me of like Frank and if we really knew if he ever cheated or not. Because I was like, oh, hang on a minute. I don't think we ever deciphered that.
well,
I
that's
don't
what
know.
Diana says. Diana says, like, there's no proof. There's no proof in the books that he cheated.
Right, but I'm as far as Swiftest
I
of
mean,
Lizards.
he clearly did in the TV show.
Right,
Frank did.
right.
But so you're saying that the Swiftest of Lizards thing is the same kind of deal? Like they're making a choice in the TV show to be like, it's his kid.
Yeah, and what's so funny about this is you guys, please don't be like, yes, I did, blah. Because what's so funny is that I don't remember, but I'm like, I might go back and read the words that I wrote like 12, 13 years ago and be like, oh, it says it right there. So I don't remember. But I was watching the scene, Tracey, I was the same exact way. I was like, hang on a minute, I don't remember.
I just was like, I mean, I'm not saying like what happens later or doesn't happen later or whatever, but I'm like at this moment, like I just thought like he met him, it was sort of vague, and then they went on with their lives.
Yeah.
And whatever. And maybe they do have this discussion, and like, Ian's like, well, he could be mine, he couldn't. I don't know, I don't remember it. And I don't, yeah, maybe they did have a discussion. I don't remember in the book. I don't remember in the book at all.
I remember.
I don't know, but it was a lovely little scene. But basically, the gist of it is that Ian tells Big Ian about Rachel, and there's a woman, and I do love her, and like, well, do you know? Did you tell her that? Well, no. I mean, I told her in Mohawk, but And does she love you? Well, I gave her my dog. And
Yeah.
that was just great. I was like, well, I didn't tell her exactly, but I gave her my dog.
I kind of thought that Ian was going to be like, oh, well, if you gave her your dog.
It was just like awkward boy. And I mean, I know we sort of like talked a little bit last season about like Ian and Rachel, and like we kind of wish Ian were like more like, like bad boy, whatever. But I do have to say, like the whole like gave her my dog, like was super cute.
Yeah. Well, we've always said that when it's just him, it's great.
Right. Well, I think what we wanted is for the whole like I'll take you right here to like be a little more like I'll take you right here and not like here's my dog. Oh, whatever. But it was very like what do you like his that like just sort of like that like kind of awkward kind of like well I gave her my dog like it was very cute. But the gist of all of this is that Old Ian is like you should go to her. And
Right.
young Ian is like, I'm not leaving you. And old Ian's like, but you should, because you need to find out. You need to like lock this down because otherwise, this is the other thing I didn't remember from the books. Like Ian's it's like could be tomorrow, could be a year from now. Nobody really knows in terms of like the end game strategy for him. And I kind of think in the books it was a little more obvious that like it wasn't going to be a year from now.
Oh, yeah.
So because I started thinking like when Claire leaves, like did she like was Jamie planning on staying until Ian died? Or
I'm going to probably say something about that when we get to that point.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I did find that like a little like could be next week. Who knows?
Roll the dice.
Okay. So moving on, we see Jamie and Claire at the stables. And Jamie's like, Claire, so you're not gonna like this, but you don't have a choice in the matter. I'm going to see Larry. And Claire played this scene really. I don't know if you guys agree. She was super amused by all of it. And I mean, this all happens in the book too, so I don't remember what happened, how she reacts. But again, the big difference here, and it's going to be the big difference from like season 2 on, because they did it so differently in the show. The difference is that Jamie knew. Jamie knew what Larry was up to during the whole witch trial back in season 2, and that changes everything. So everything that happens with Larry from here on in, I kind of hate a little bit.
Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense because there's no world in which Jamie knowing what Larry did would ever like have anything to do with her again. So you just kind of gotta like, like just not think about it, I guess. Whatever.
Right. I mean, have that. Well, first I talked about his non-gray hair. Then I have this Leary conversation is bizarre. Like, why wouldn't Jamie tell Claire why? First of all, it was like that whole like, oh, are you going? Why are you going? And then and why would she think that he wanted to, why she's like, oh, do you want to know if Leary's sleeping with someone? And I was just like, he doesn't care. Like, what are you even talking about? Like, yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, I mean, like, the question I would think would be like, oh, are you gonna go try to talk her, like, talk the alimony nut down, like, or like maybe see if you can, face to face get out of that commitment?
Yes.
Like,
it was sort of like, I'm sorry, Claire, do you and Jamie talk ever? It was just weird. It was just weird.
Yeah, I just wrote down Claire's very understanding about Leary, given that she tried to kill her.
I have that written somewhere, but I think it's in a future scene because I was really like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing here?
I know. But, that said, like, look, it's their business. Like, she's way more forgiving than I am, which makes her a better person, maybe, who knows, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. So Jamie goes to Larry's house and he sees like there's like a farmhand guy, like, tilling the fields, and then you hear Jenna Fraser, like, rock, rock. And there she is after, when was the last time we saw her? I think it was season 4, because we saw her in the episode where Bree comes back and Bree stays with her for a while. Remember that? And everyone was all up in arms because that was like so different, and Bree didn't like get to experience Lallybroch. And you and I were like, we loved it. We loved every minute of it. We thought it was so great because like you really saw Leary's side of it a little bit, and then but you still also saw all the Leary cray.
Right. She cray.
But I don't think we've seen her since then.
It's been a long ass time.
So Jamie is like, I've come to say I'm sorry. And it's spliced between this is Roger wandering the moors and like doing what you were saying about like, let me stop by the stream and, contemplate things.
Okay.
So Leary is just like, Leary's head is where Tracey and Carol's head was, where she's like, yeah, you still have to pay. You can't get out of your payments, bro. So don't think about it.
I had some other thoughts about that.
What, about Roger or about
that you still have to pay?
Oh, yeah.
I was sort of like, and I also noticed that she didn't look any older. P.S. Leary, she looked great.
I feel, I sort of noticed that too. Yes, I agree with you. I feel like she's probably still not that old because like when she married whoever the first, like when she had those kids, she was probably 18, and like how old is Marcelly? Marcelly's like probably 25 by now. So she's like in her early 40s, and she could have looked a little older, but like in general,
yes.
It wasn't like it didn't bother me it doesn't bother me as much as like I guess maybe Ian did.
Right. Okay. So I'm not going to say until we get to another Leary scene. I keep holding back on my Leary thoughts because she's so far I only have that because they got back to, there was another quick thing with Roger and then they had the conversation. I have that there was a new scene and Roger was moseying on over to Lallybroch, taking his own sweet time.
Well, he is. I sort of skipped over that because it's like 2 seconds.
Okay, well, that's where I did not know if you skipped over that. So I have Laoghaire needs to pipe down. Don't call Claire a hussy.
It's a hula. And I love. Well, can I interject one thing, which was the greatest thing ever, which is the Scottish accents in this episode
were so good,
on point, and like brilliant.
Right.
And she was one of them.
Right.
She was one of them.
Yes.
And she every time she would say that Scottish hula, I was like, so much. I love it so much. Okay,
so
continue.
My thing was that she needs to pipe down. Don't call Claire a hula. They're not technically married. Like if you think about it, he was still married to Claire. So he was never really married to Leary. So she needs to calm down. And she's beyond lucky that Jamie's even apologizing to her. And then I'm laughing. It's always about money with this one. Oh my God, the Sassenach Hur, so funny. Here she goes again. And why is she asking Jamie if he loves Claire? Duh. He pitied her. She's off her rocker. And asking if he already loved Claire when they kissed. Why the F are we dragging all of this out again? She almost got Claire killed. She deserves to be killed herself. I don't really mean that, but watching her be all mom-rific to this guy working in the land is a grief fest. It's okay. I was like, dude, he's what is he, 8? Like what?
So a couple of things with this guy. So the guy, if I'm remembering correctly, in the books, isn't he like a dwarf? Or he's like not like a dwarf, but like he's like really short. So maybe he is like I don't know. There's definitely something. He has some sort of physical thing that makes him that is memorable.
I don't remember, but I honestly happy that she has someone. And I was
He
like, oh,
wasn't the kind of haughty guy that he was,
but he
here.
needs her. She
But
needs someone to need her.
well, yes, but we find that out later. But yes, I have to say I felt for Leary in some of
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Like I was like I really sort of love her spunk and her determination. And she's not wrong. Like that's the thing. She's not wrong. Like Jamie didn't, I mean,
No,
Jamie
she
was
tried to
just
kill
being
him. Yes, she is.
Jamie was just, well, no. It was more like the whole like, I mean, it is kind of a high school argument, I suppose, but like you like made out with me when you were in love with someone else.
Oh, shut
And
up. Why
it's
are you
like
wasting our time with this? I was like, are we back in the alcove again?
You married me when you were still in love with, whatever. So I mean, like, I get that. That said, again, you're too like, this is me getting that, but also like disregarding all of the stuff that came before with her, with the whole like he knows that you tried to kill her business.
I felt like
Because I
they
just kind
had
of put
this
it out of my head.
I felt like she and he have had this conversation before. I was like,
Um,
what is happening right now?
I mean, it just you kind of saw from both sides.
Yeah.
So which was nice. So yeah, so she goes nuts and she turns back into like, the Leary we all love to hate.
Yeah.
And then, random farm dude like runs to her aid and you realize like, oh, he's not just a random farm dude. He's like he's the familiar farm dude. So and Jamie's so funny. He's like, okay, didn't this one wasn't on my bingo card, Claire.
Yeah. He was like, oh.
So, all right. So he, I guess, goes back and he and Claire are back in the Laird's domicile.
Yes.
And Claire tells him that she wants to let the family know her secret.
Right, but before that, they had the conversation about Leary because he let Claire know what happened, and this is where I have to stick up for Claire and say Claire's awesome because I said, "See, Claire has brain in her head, saying only you would apologize to someone who shot you." Like I was like, "Oh, look, we have the voice of reason." Like Claire was 100% like on the same page as us. Like,
I don't get Claire. Claire is just so like, and Claire's not, I wouldn't call Claire like a nice person. I mean, not like she's not a nice person, but like, Claire's not someone who you're like, she's like the nicest person you ever met. Like, right.
No,
But
no.
like when it comes to Leary, maybe it's just, she just finds Leary sort of like sad and humorous because she knows like you'll never have Jamie. Like he's mine, kind of like she finds her almost kind of pathetic in a way. So it's more of like a like that kind of thing.
Right.
But Claire does say she wants to fess up to the family. You know what I just wrote down here? This is so random, but I was like, I wish he would call her Sassenach more.
Oh
I feel like he called her
yeah.
Claire like 17 times in this episode. And it's
Shit,
like he doesn't call her Claire ever.
Leary calls her Sassenach more than he does. And I have Claire wants to tell the family the truth. And then in bold, massive capital letters, I have Allah. I was so excited when that happened.
So, okay.
This is where at first for me felt like an echo in the bone.
Okay. So they're sitting around that kitchen table, dining room table, whatever. And Claire lets it all out. She's like, okay, you need to get out of France. You need to like figure out an exit strategy because France is not, you probably have never seen Les Mis, but like Michael, but
yeah,
basically, and I don't even know if this is the same like battle. But,
you gonna be stealing a loaf of bread.
No, don't steal any loaves of bread. I don't even think it's the same time. In fact, it's not. Les Mis is like a different like rebellion.
Right.
This was the Marie Antoinette rebellion or
Let me cake.
whatever. Yeah, let me cake. But she's all like, there's going to be a lot of bloodshed and yada yada, and you need to just get out of here. And they're like, well, how do you know this? Um, and I gotta like get that timing right here.
Did you notice the way they were sitting at the table? And she was all the way in the back. And at first I was like, what, why are they like positioned like this? Like she's way back there telling them such important things. And then it hit me when they showed it from the other angle. It's because Jamie's like basically in front of her, like protecting her. Like, yeah, she got something to say, but just chill out now. Hear
um, yeah, well, that
poor
was great.
Ian is sitting across from them, like,
I love how like young Ian, when they're all like, what are you? Like young Ian's like, don't ask me.
I don't freaking know. Yeah. Because that's one of those things that in my mind I was like, oh wait, does he even know? And I was like, I don't think he does, but he just took it like, okay.
No. He definitely knows. He definitely knows.
He knows something. He said it. Like he knows there's something, but he doesn't know exactly what it is. I don't think he knows like she was born in the year of our Lord 19.
No, I think he does. I think he knows. I mean, he knows how they travel.
A line in this scene. I swear he said like, I didn't know either, but I know she's something.
He didn't know back then, but no, I mean, he took Roger and Bree back to the Stones, remember?
Yeah.
A couple seasons ago.
Yeah.
No, he knows, but he doesn't know how she can do that. Like he doesn't know. He's just like she's like a fairy, maybe. I don't really know. I just know. I mean, Ian knows and believes she can do it. He just doesn't know like how. Because the whole idea of like the future is the future. Just so, like incomprehensible to them.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
So it was really great to be like, are you a fairy? No, I think she's a wise woman.
Are you a good witch or a bad witch?
This whole pondering of like, what's going on? Whatever. So then, knock. There's a knock at the door.
Yeah. But how did you feel about that scene? Like, how did you feel about that scene? What Claire was saying, how they were taking it. I was screaming, Claire, remind them this. Claire, tell them about this. You told them to plant the freaking potatoes.
Well, I mean, I think they did remember that because somebody says somewhere like this explains a lot. Like this, okay.
I don't know. Jenny later was like, yeah, they believe you, but whatever. And I'm thinking to myself, she told you to plant the potatoes.
No, I think Jenny did believe her. Jenny did believe her. I mean, again, didn't understand it, but the reason she believes her in some way is because she's like, please cure Ian.
Yeah.
Like fix my husband. Yeah. So she knows that Claire is able to do things that everybody else is not.
Right.
So she's talking through this, and then the knock on the door, and then the sequence is just great. And like, I want to hear from non-book readers. Did you know it was coming? Did you know it was happening? Because you see Roger, coming into Lallybroch. You see him knock on the door. You see Jamie go to answer the door. We know right away. Like we know this is their Silence of the Lambsing us. So we book readers knew right away. Like this is not what you think. But I'd be curious to see the non-book readers and if you were like totally like what. So
I loved it, but I
thought it was great. And it was such a good idea.
Yeah,
like we said, it really tied the two storylines together very seamlessly.
Right.
And it said you're not gonna, there's no thinking like this doesn't really mesh or is this not from this part of the story or whatever. Like the story is like this now. Totally. So Jamie answers the door and it's wee Joanie. Roger answers the door and it's old Brian. And it does not take Roger long to realize, oh my God, I should say his narration up to that point was a little bit like, you'd have to have him do some sort of narration or else he's just walking around and it's boring. Now his narration gets really good because it's like door opens, yeah, no, I'm Brian Fraser. And you can hear his inner thoughts. And he's like, what
shit.
the F?
Yes.
Oh Jesus, I'm in the wrong time. Like
Right.
so great. So
Right.
great. And then yeah. So I think they yeah. It's Brian Fraser's at the wrong time. And then Jamie opens the door second, and it's wee Joanie, who I love that actress. Like,
Oh my God, she's so good.
she might be my favorite character on this show, on this episode.
Joanie?
I love her so much.
She's
like,
so cute. And she's just
first-
so good. And she's another one with the accent that had a really great
yes,
accent.
yes.
Yeah.
She pronounced things. Like, I was almost like, does she speak Gaelic more than English? Because she almost had pronunciations that were like just like super interesting and like almost in a Welsh way. Not really, but
right.
you
I
know
know
what I
what you're
mean?
saying. Yes.
But she now I said that Marcelly looked like Jenny. I think Joanie looks more like Jamie than Bree does.
That's very interesting. Yes.
With that red hair.
100%. They made Brie look like Claire.
So I love her. She's just like she's such a cutie patootie. Like I just can't, I love her. But all right. So they're still cutting back and forth. They're in with Roger and Brian. And then you hear, supper's on the table. And it's younger Jenny.
Right.
And that scene was just great. That scene was just great. She's all like, oh,
I was a little
that?
confused because I wasn't expecting the same actress. And I was just sort of like, like it was,
you know what? It was confusing because also that they also had the daughter of Jenny and Ian in there as well. Maggie, Janet, I don't know, one of them. And she shows up a bunch of times, and I thought it was like when she rides up later on the horse to let Jamie or Roger know that Buck is sick. I
Yes.
thought it was Jenny, and then
So
the
did
second time I
I.
watched it, I was like, oh no, that's not Jenny. That's like,
you're literally
some
telling me
young-
right.
yeah,
I had no idea.
No, it wasn't
You're
Jenny.
telling
it was
me
like,
right now. I thought it was her the whole
no,
time.
because Jenny's screaming in the woods at the same time.
I just figured that was editing. Like, I just figured it was kind of like not the best editing. That
No, I think it was like the daughter. I think it was the daughter. I think
Okay.
it was the daughter.
I don't know. I thought it was Jenny.
But younger Jenny, all hot for Roger, is hilarious. And and then when Brian's like, oh yeah, she fancies like the young Ian Murray, son of John, and she's like, duh.
Yeah.
You don't say that in front of Hottie McToasty here. And it's just like Roger's getting in deeper and deeper and deeper, and because Brian is like, Brian, is it Brian or Brian? Brian. Between Jenny all being all like, and Brian being like, you should stay for supper. Study room, study over. Like you can sleep a night here. Roger's just like, what to do? I don't know where I am. Oh, that's going. It was hilarious. Any more with that?
I have William McKenzie is sick. Who dat? They said something about what oh God.
You like jumping ahead here.
So confused. That's because I'm having a hard time. Well, I have Here Comes Jenny on the horse. Didn't you just say that? And you said it was what's her name?
Yeah, but no, we've missed the talk with Jamie and Joanie. Which was maybe my favorite scene of the whole show.
Well, I kind of laughed when she showed up and she had the red hair because then I was like,
I mean, we've seen her before. I think it's the same actress from the same season 4, when Bree went through the stones and stayed with Leary, because Jenny or Joanie was on that one as well.
Right.
I just want, you know what? And I will tell you all right now, book readers, not book readers, whatever. There's been no scene as yet with Joanie and Marcelly seeing each other after 10, 12, however many years it's been. That's the scene I want.
Maybe we'll get that someday.
Maybe book 10. Maybe it's coming in book 10.
Yeah.
I want that scene. Diana, if you're listening, Joanie, Marcelly, together. Okay. So basically, Joanie has this elaborate, like Joanie has problems. Joanie has lots of problems.
But Joanie's
like,
smarter than everyone else on the show, apparently, because
she is. Well, she figures out a way to sorry, hold on. I'm like trying to plug in here and this is not working. Why? Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, Joanie is like, okay, I have to like read all her problems. Okay, she wants to join the nunnery. She wants to marry Jesus Christ.
Don't we all?
Christ. She wants to join the nunnery, but Leary won't let her. And she can't, well, Leary's want her to go, but the other reason is that the parish priest has said, I don't know how the parish priest does this. I guess it's like an open secret. But like, if she leaves, like right now, nobody's living in sin because Joanie lives there. If Joanie were to move, it's just Leary and farmhand.
It sounds like nobody's living in sin because Joanie's living in sin. What?
It's the farmhand the farmhand and Leary can't live by themselves. If Joanie's there, it's a little safer. But once she leaves, she's like the chaperone, and then they're living in sin. So that's one of the issues. And then the other issue is with the payments, that Leary doesn't want to stop them, but the reasoning is because if she stops them and if she gets married, this is also complicated, but if she gets married, then Joey the farmhand gets the house, gets the car, gets all the stuff.
Like I was gonna say, it's very modern day. Like, I don't know. I found it to be a little.
It was pretty much like, hi Jamie, here's all my problems, of which there are many, like 17. Can you fix them? Can you figure out a way to fix them all? Okay,
because you're Jamie, you can do everything.
Jamie, I need to come to you more than anyone, because you can. If anybody can do it, you can do it.
I just kept getting lost in like, I appreciated the fact that Leary doesn't want to give up everything, and she's pissed off that he loves Claire and blah 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 blah, blah. And she needs the money, and she doesn't want to give up her home. But like, I just sort of felt like, girl, you shot him. Shut up. Just shut up. And like, it was so modern day with like, he's going to stop paying me alimony, so I have to this and that. You're not even married to him. You were never married to him.
But you sort of do understand, like, again, she's never had anything. She wants, what is it, Balmoral? No, not Balmoral.
Balregan.
Balregan.
Yes.
She's, I mean, it's true. Like, and it tells you, you have to remind yourself that as a woman in that time period, nothing was yours. Nothing. It's the same with Jocasta across the pond. If when she married, what's his name? I remember who she married. Oh my God. River Run becomes his, right? Or maybe there was like a loophole or something, but like,
there's something else.
Happens.
Yeah, and there's something else that I want to comment on that later too.
So yeah, so we're pretty much set on Leary has some complexities, but at the end of the day, she is really kind of a Sassenach whore. Yes or no? Nah, I think that's probably a little unfair, but
Whatever.
We love to hate her, so there you go.
Leary's not a Sassenach whore. She's just a whore.
Okay. So yeah, wait, I skipped something important, which was a great scene, which was Jenny going outside and talking to Claire about, okay, I don't care what you are, but will you cure Ian? Will you make him better? And it was really heartbreaking that Claire was just like, I wish I could, Jenny. I just have some knowledge. I don't have medicines or anything, and there's no way I can get them. And she's just like, sure, fine, whatever.
You could do it for everybody else.
right, but you can't do it for me because you still hate me.
Right.
And Claire's like, what? What?
Oh, Jenny, sometimes like even in the midst of this, you're like, calm down.
Jenny just thinks that Claire is still hung up on the whole like way back 20 years ago when you came back. I got in touch with Larry and all that mess happened. And Claire's like, no. And Jenny's like, you don't have a soul, like whatever. So it's not good between them at the moment.
Right.
But you can see Jenny's point of view in that like she's grasping at straws here.
Do you think?
Yeah, she's grasping at straws, but like, do you blame her?
I can see Jenny's point of view. I have lived Jenny's point of view.
That's okay. I'm gonna go there then because I was just like, well, I mean, if one of your friends was like, yeah, I'm from the future, and wouldn't you be all like, oh my God,
get your ass over here,
get your ass over to the hospital right now?
Yes,
you would 100%.
I could understand it, and I was thinking you would have made a deal with the devil, so I could totally understand that Jenny was like, just do whatever the frig you can do. But, you also can understand why she's like, geez, like she can do this, she can do that. But anyway, we get back to that later.
But I mean, she's not seeing clearly, and she's not, and quite frankly, like, I don't blame her for even not seeing clearly because like, this is again, her sister-in-law from the future, like
from the future. And when
what does that even mean? What does that even mean? And all you know is it's a lifeline. It's a possible lifeline, and I'm going to grab it and I'm going to do what I can to hold on to it. And you're telling me that there's nothing you can do? Like bullshit.
And when you're like that, like when you're going through something like that, you're basically like, you'll do whatever. And you're just like a robot. You just like go. Keep them alive, keep them alive, keep them alive, keep them alive. So I totally could understand that, that she was like, look, just do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm. I'll do whatever. You want my soul? You want Lallybroch? You got it.
Yes.
Whatever.
Yeah. Whatever.
Mm-hmm. That was a great scene. It was very, very good. And then we go back to Roger, and he's just trying to figure out the time travel thing. He's trying to figure out, what year is it? And he just sort of talks through. He sort of figures out he's in the wrong year. And did that mean that Jem is in the wrong year? And why did they get in the wrong year? And what are they going to do now? And
he's so Roger in this scene, didn't you think? I totally have like, and lamenting a lot. Typical overthinking Roger. Like,
yes,
like,
he is
what about
in
this?
his
What about
own
this?
head.
Oh my God. This one happened. What are we going to, frankly, I understood it because I kind of think that way myself.
He's in his own head. But so he decides so Brian is going to help him find his son,
Yes.
So they go into town and they're asking around, and it's John Murray, who is that father of of Big Ian, of Old Ian?
I thought it was father of Old Ian, and this is when Jenny, who I thought was Jenny, came on her horse and said William Mackenzie
Right, Buck is sick. And I don't think maybe, you know what? Maybe it is Jenny. Because what I forgot was, you're absolutely right. See, okay, here comes the first one. I forgot we're in two different time periods.
So
you're absolutely right. It is Jenny.
It's Jenny, but it's young Jenny, and Roger has already met Buck later.
Right.
So how is William Mackenzie sick? It's different William Mackenzie than the William Mackenzie he just left back there at the stream?
Yeah, because Buck Mackenzie William is, because I think they're in Inverness now, right?
Buck was going to Inverness to the town to see what he could find out, and Roger went to Lallybroch. But she's saying William Mackenzie is sick. And I'm like, wait, though, if this is the same guy, that would have been younger.
Right. He's William Mackenzie. No, he's William Mackenzie. He's William Mackenzie that went to Inverness. Okay, and now he's really sick in Inverness. And somebody got somebody got word to Lallybroch, or what's the town that's in Lallybroch? Brockshire? I don't know.
No, you're not. This isn't what I'm saying, though. This is where it gets okay. Buck traveled, but Buck already knew Roger from way back when
Right.
it was Buck's damn fault that Roger was
Right,
hanging.
right. We know that. We know that. So what's the
So
point?
if the point is that this would be a much younger William Mackenzie.
No, it's
This would be a not
now
young
you're now
William
okay,
Mackenzie.
okay. Now you're getting into like Back to the Future, time traveler's wife,
Dougal's son.
wackadoo things of being
He's
yes.
He's not even born yet. It's a different William Mackenzie.
Right,
It's not Buck.
right.
You said it was Buck when she.
No, it's not a different Mackenzie. It's that Buck. That Roger. It's Roger. The Buck Roger knows. But you're
No.
right. That Buck.
He's not
Yes.
even born yet because Jenny's young and Jamie's off in
But
France.
okay, Jenny's young because they went back in the wrong time period. So where do you think Buck? Okay, so Roger and Buck.
Who are Buck's
come through-
parents?
Wait.
Who are Buck's parents? I know the answer to this. Figure this
I
out,
know,
and you're
but-
going to
but-
understand what I'm
Right,
saying.
but it makes no sense, but it can't make any sense because they traveled back in time. This is the thing. So Roger and Buck traveled back in time. They're in like 1740 now, right? Okay, great.
Mhm.
They are physically there. I understand that Buck is probably born maybe around 1742. So Buck is not born yet. But that doesn't matter because the then Buck went to the future and now is in 1740, 2 years before he's born.
Right. So you think he just showed up in the town of Inverness and everybody knows him? Oh, William Mackenzie's sick.
No, maybe he's like, maybe he went into Inverness and he was clearly ill, and he passes out on the street, and then wakes up and is like, oh, send for my friend, send Roger Mackenzie. He's staying at Brockshire, So they don't know, and maybe he's figured out at that point that they've gone back in time too far. I don't know what he's thinking, but all I'm saying is that Buck is in Inverness somewhere and has sent word with someone to Brockshire to go find his friend Roger Mackenzie
And tell him that
get him to come back
William
here.
All right. I gotcha.
Does that make sense?
It seemed to me like when she said it, she was saying it to everyone, like our William Mackenzie.
No, but I mean, we don't know if you go to the time frame of Jamie and Claire, right? Which is like 1778, sorry. So Jenny, if Buck had not gone back, Buck would be in America. We don't know if Buck knows the Frasers of Brockshire. It's Jenny or Ian or any of the kids or whatever. We don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't.
I don't think he does, because if he did, he would have known who Roger was back when.
I mean, they're sort of cousins, like sort of.
Right.
Distant cousins, but whatever.
All right, let's keep going.
He didn't just disappear. He's there. He's in Inverness, and he sent for Roger. Young Jenny, which I didn't remember was young Jenny because it's a different time period. So I've already messed that up once. Now we can put that in the messed up column.
Well, we won't blame that on you. We'll blame that on editing.
No, I completely forgot. Like they're 20 years or 40 years or however many years earlier. So it would be young Jenny, which also tells you that Jenny now is supposed to be about. Well, Jamie's supposed to be in his 50s, so Jenny's probably like right around 52 or whatever. So they all look pretty good for their age. What are you gonna say? Anyway, okay. So Buck is sick, so they gotta like go and find him. So then we're back in the Jamie and Claire time, and we hear this like primal screaming, and Jamie's all hunting, and he's like, "What the hell?" And he like runs, and he sees it's Jenny, and they have this little scene where. Jamie's like, you're going to get through this. You're resilient. Like you can get through anything. It's going to be okay. And that's a nice little scene. It gave It gave Kristin Atherton like some some flashy like stuff to do. What? What? Is there
Mhm.
something on my eye?
No, I had an itch.
Oh, like this. um, yeah, it was a nice little scene. I liked when they like, walked off, into the sunset and like, Jenny puts her arm around him and they're so like this and it's just very cute. It's very cute.
Oh, can I say before you move on? I don't know if I should say it or not. I don't know.
Go ahead.
It's just yet another one of those, from the point of view of someone who's lived it. The primal screaming is 100%, 100%. Like sometimes I watch the stuff and I'm like, oh, what widow did they talk to? You know what I mean? Like what person whose husband was sick did they talk to? Because that is friggin' so damn true. And it's also so true that she does it away. I found it to be so primal. It was almost like childbirth. You know what I mean? Back then, the way they'd be like maybe by themselves in the woods or something. But the primal screaming at first, I was like, who's having a baby? And then we go to her and you realize, and I'm like, this is 100%. I used to scream in my car when Tom was sick. So scream. I used to go like, oh, I'm going to go get ice cream, kids, and scream. So I was like, wow, kudos to them for knowing that's the deal. I wasn't thrilled, and this is just me nitpicking, oh, you're so strong. Oh, you've taken care of us. You just don't want to hear that. I don't care. Yeah, I'm strong. Doesn't matter. Doesn't change anything. Life's still shit. You know what I mean? Like, so when I hear that kind of talk of, oh, you're so strong. No one who's strong gives a shit that they're strong. You know what I mean? They just something inside you just makes you be strong, makes you keep going, makes you do what you got to friggin' do. So that whole scene, I'm sure it was lovely, but to me, I was like, so just a different point of view.
That's exactly what I was thinking. It's like you have a very different perspective from like 90% of the people who are watching the show.
Yes. Like I just sort of felt like, Jamie, you know what? You can't just chalk this up and make it all better by, like, oh no, you're strong. You can handle this. Okay. Anyway, but I thought it was great acting, writing, all of it. I'm not complaining about it. I loved it. I really did love it. But that was a different point of view.
Yeah, your experience sort of like forces you to see it from a different angle.
Yes. Which is interesting, again, because so many of these guys saw Tom like in these videos with us being silly about Claire and about Outlander, loved it and watched with us while we went through everything and Tom was sick. And so it is very interesting to me to see all of this.
Right. But they're not going to have your perspective because they didn't live. It's like, I can watch this happen to Jenny, but it didn't happen to me personally. So I can't like understand what that feels like in a way that you can.
It's sort of like when you hear a song that's written about something that to you, when you hear the song, it's got a completely different meaning. Even though it was written about this, you hear it about this. And which I love about art in general is that everybody just takes their own thing, meaning.
Right.
All right, let's move on.
All right, let's move on. So, because this is a great scene. This is when they have the meeting of the minds with Jamie at the desk.
Oh, loved it.
Things are going to get real when Jamie is sitting at the Laird's desk. Okay.
Right.
So we've got like Claire sort of as his like, stenographer, whatever. We've got Leary there. We've got Jenny there. And we've got Joey, the farm boy there. And Jamie's like, okay. So Ned Gowan has drawn up the papers. I don't remember it. See, I was starting to think of like, okay, is Ned Gowan still alive at this point? Do we know? We do see Ned in the books, in Voyager when they're like hammering out this whole agreement with Jamie and Leary. And at that point, he's like older than God.
Yes.
So I don't really remember.
I was thinking that too. Like he's missing some teeth, and I'm like, he must be missing a lot more than that.
Right. And the actual actor was in it, and I don't remember. I I don't remember if they go into this much detail in the book. They might. I don't remember, and I don't remember if Ned Gowan is actually there, and they just couldn't get the actor, or if he wasn't there. I don't know. I don't remember, but I don't care because it was still a really, really fun scene. They do say he's just spry. He's like 104 and like super spry, whatever. So basically, the agreement is that. So yeah, like Leary wants Joan to get married to some guy. I missed his name, whatever. But he's like, no, you'll wed, yada yada. And Joanie's like, hell no. I mean, heck no. No, I can't say hell because it's bad because I'm gonna be a nun. Yeah, I was like, couldn't they get Ned Gowan? Is he in the books? Like, all right. So the agreement is this, and it's just brilliant. Leary will marry Joey the farmhand. She will get the
Sounds like a
estate.
mafia guy. Joey the farmhand.
She will get the estate free and clear. It's all hers.
But when she dies, he ain't getting shit. I watched that twice. It was
I guess it goes to her. It goes to the kid, to the girls when she dies.
He does not get it when she dies.
What happened? I didn't write that down. Like that they said anything about when Leary dies.
I'll have to watch it. Upon your death, it is not transferring to him upon her death.
I just read Leary will marry Joey and get the estate as their sole property. Jamie will end the payments. Mm-hmm. Leary will release Joan's dowry, and Jamie will give whoever, a family, this gold to pay for Joanie's upkeep at the nunnery.
Right. Wasn't that the two of the musket balls that we've seen in the past? Yeah.
Yes.
Thought that was cool.
Yes. So everyone loves this arrangement, and I like maybe this was my favorite scene of the whole thing, where Leary's like, okay, yeah, I'll do it, all right, whatever, and she sort of walks out, and then Joanie like turns around to Jamie, and they just like they didn't go like, yeah, but they might as well have, and then she was like,
go ahead,
the whole like pray for me, every day and twice on Sunday.
Again with the Tom line, because she goes, oh, every day and twice on Sundays. Oh, Tom said that all the time. I say it to people now and they look at me like, huh? He would always say, oh, totally, every day and twice on Sunday.
I think I've said it earlier in this video. Like, it's kind of common expression. But
I would say it's more like an Irish Scottish.
The two of them, I want more. I wish there was more of Jamie and wee Joanie. And I wish that, because I remember way back when Jamie had married Leary and they were little girls. And I think there was a scene or two with Jamie and the two of the little girls. And it was just like cute as a bug's ear.
Right.
And like, she's just so cute. She's just I just love her. I just love her so much. And I love the two of them. I love Jamie and his little, her sort of da. He is her da for all intents and purposes.
Yeah. She was young.
Let's move on because we're both hungry because it's late on Friday.
Oh my God.
Okay. Okay. So Jamie and Claire are in the Laird study or whatever, and they're bantering about how Claire needs glasses. Now I know, like, yes, you do. Now I know, like, we should go get you some glasses. I don't need glasses, whatever. Then in comes Jenny with a letter from Lord John. Now, we broke this down a lot in the preview because this was part of the season of the trailer.
Yes.
And we broke it down a lot. So I don't think
and we broke down
at this point. And we broke down a lot. But basically what happens is the letter is from Lord John. He's telling Claire that his nephew Henry, because I paused and read the whole letter. So I've got like all the information. His nephew Henry has been injured in battle. And there's a musket ball like stuck in him or whatever. I feel like they can't like transfer him or whatever. They got to get the musket ball out. Nobody can do it but Claire.
And Claire's the only surgeon in the entire world now.
Now, all right. I will say this, that, okay. So in the books, and I'm just going to go there within the books because, like, who cares? It's not going to happen. So it doesn't happen this way in the books. the way that Claire, it's important. Claire has to leave.
Yeah.
Claire has to leave for like
Edward
the rest
had
of
to
the
leave.
series
Claire
to
has to
happen.
leave.
Okay. Okay. So something's got to get her out of there. And it's got to be something that's like super, super motivating that she is going to be like, I have to go. Right.
Right.
In the books, it's that Marcelly and Fergus's youngest son, Omri Christian, is sick. Like I feel like it's something stupid like he has tonsillitis or whatever. But like back in the day,
Right.
that was something that could kill you.
Right.
So they get the letter, and keep in mind, Omri Christian is by all intents and purposes her grandson.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So
He is
there's
her
no
grandson.
question. There's no what should I do? There's only get on the boat and go. Claire,
You
go.
can understand it as the reader.
Right.
Like as the audience, you're like, yep, she got to do it. She's got to go.
Right. And there could be complications because Henri Christian is a dwarf and maybe is not like has some physical challenges or whatever. We don't really know, but like it's not even like even if you did find a surgeon like could do it, like maybe they're not going to know how to operate on this small child who may have some physical differences or whatever.
Right.
Lord John's nephew.
Don't
Again,
get me started.
I'm hungry, so I'm not even gonna like really go there. Except this drove me back to the book to see like what happens. And the fact is that there really is this nephew. It's Hal's youngest son, Henry. He
Mhm.
really does get shot in battle, and somebody really does sail to his help. But it's Dottie, Hal's daughter and Lord John's niece who does so.
Oh, I was
for
trying to figure that
a
out.
bunch of reasons that I'm not going to get into because I don't know how much they're going to get into this in the season. But
Right.
it's not like everyone hates Hal's son. It's that it was a different circumstance and a different storyline that like drove people to his side.
That like made sense.
That made sense.
Why couldn't it have been like a Beardsley or something? I mean, something. Ian is dying, and you're gonna leave for Lord John's nephew?
Now I think Ian is dying. See, because again, like the way they've set this up, the whole like could be tomorrow, could be a year. Like they're not hanging around for a year on the ridge.
No, but she knows it's going to be less than a year, and she could have at least helped. She could have made him as comfortable as possible, and instead, I'm never going to agree with Lord John's nephew.
I know. Now I hear you. I hear you. And the thing is, like, clearly this is all coming about because for whatever reason, it was decided that that Lauren Lyle and Cesar Dumbrag, I'm sorry, just like butchered that name, I'm sure. But the two of them were not in the season. Whether it was like they, budgetary reasons, whether the actors weren't available, whatever it was, they were not going to be able to be in this season. So they had to get around that. They couldn't like and if it was going to be Henri, it's not like they could just like say it's Henri Christian, have her go, and then not see them like that. Like it's you're gonna see how this plays out. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to have whoever it is, whatever the reason is, like you're gonna have to see what the reason is or see who the reason is. Like I don't think we're gonna like not see any of this stuff that goes down, once Claire gets to wherever she's going. So they had to like figure out something to do instead, and this is what they did. And I'm not coming up with anything any better, but I don't know. I'm not coming up with like, if you're like, okay, we can't do the Marcelly Fergus Henri Christian storyline for whatever reason, we have to come up with something else.
Okay.
I don't have any easy answers either.
We don't have a lot of time, but I'm going to say this. What about, okay, it's still not good. Still, well, what about what's her name with the Beardsleys?
But she's not going there. She's not going back to the Ridge. She's going to Philadelphia. I don't know. I don't know how you fix it. Like maybe it's Rachel. I think she's around there. I don't honestly remember. I don't honestly remember at this point. I don't know what it is.
I would have
And
rather
again, we
that
won't
they brought
belabor
a
it.
long lost uncle of Claire's. It just makes no
Yes.
sense to me at all.
It's Uncle Lam. I don't
Yeah.
understand this message, but here's Lord John's like, someone came to me whose name is Lamb. I don't get it, but
Just bring
like,
somebody but Lord John's nephew. It just makes no sense to me.
It
Like,
just-
she
you
would
know what?
leave Ian.
yeah,
Like, she
I
would
agree.
leave Ian for Lord
Well,
John's
but
nephew.
no, but I mean, like, what I was gonna say is like, it makes less than no sense that she would leave Jamie. I mean,
Mhm.
like Claire, for the love of all that is holy, when are we gonna learn that a Jamie and Claire divided
Right.
cannot stand?
Right. You got to
Okay.
stick together. Right. We said it a
It
million
cannot
times.
stand.
All
So yeah, it's like a week has gone by. We made fun of it last week. This week I'm more like they were just kind of screwed. I don't know why you don't just like figure out how to get Marceline and Fergus in the friggin' episode, and like because I don't know that they have to be in like a ton of it,
Right.
but
Maybe, whatever. Maybe they didn't
whatever.
talk to a book reader.
It's
I don't
just
know.
it was kind of silly that Claire's like, okay, sure, I'll go help Lord John's nephew that I've never met.
And I'll leave
But it
Ian,
is what
who
it
I'm
is.
just seeing for the first time in all these years. All right, let's move
Right.
on.
It is what it is.
Lallybroch,
It is what
Ian
it
and
is.
Jenny.
Um,
Ian
so
and Jenny.
and Jenny was all like, well, you should go, Claire, because it's Lord John's nephew, who I don't know, but whatever.
Jenny was like, get out. I'm done with you. If you know how to get
Okay.
out.
Okay. So young Ian is writing to Rachel and he's like, it could be a year. Like, I don't know when I'm going to be back and you shouldn't wait because, your biological clock is ticking like this. I can't make any promises. Just let me have my dog back when I finally get back. Okay. So Jenny comes upon him writing this and she's like, oh, you're writing to a young lass, huh? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, here, let me say. And she's like, no, you gotta leave. And Ian's like, no, I'm staying for, my dog. No. And then Jenny's like, here, come with me. And they go off to a graveyard and it's like the Murray graveyard. And we see the grave that Jemmy at the beginning at the Easter egg was tracing the letters. And it says Isabel.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the name of Ian's and Emily's daughter that died. And it's like, oh. And Ian and Jenny have this lovely little scene where she's like, you'll always be with us no matter where you are. Go. You can go with Auntie Claire.
It was lovely.
It was really nice. I loved that she was like, we put the Mohawk name in. I didn't really know how to spell it, but I tried to follow like what you wrote as best as I could, and
right.
it's all just so.
And he's like, like I was like, dang, I wish I could say whatever the Mohawk language that he just used.
So, all right, yeah, I think we're almost at the end. I think we can do this. We have 9 minutes left on this video.
Oh, you know
okay.
that. All right, good.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. Okay. So, it's time for Ian and Claire to leave. Jenny apologizes to Claire. They have a nice little scene. She gets it. She's sorry. Claire's like, yes, you have a soul, Jenny. Or no, Jenny says, Claire, you have a soul. Never mind.
No.
Yeah, again, we don't know how long Jamie's planning on staying. Because they're all like, I'll see you when you're back, whatever. But like, again, what are you guys doing?
It's hard to watch.
I think I said this when I read the book too. Like, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Well, it is what it is. But I also felt like, as far as Ian goes, I don't know about you guys, but I felt like they were shoving him. Like, if he wants to stay with his dying father, why can't he stay with his dying father?
Because Rachel's going to marry somebody else.
Oh, so let her. I mean, I'm sorry.
No, you want your child. You want your child to have like a life. You want your child.
What if he got back and Rachel said, like, I can't stand you anymore. I've already met and married somebody else. Like that's always on the table. You don't know what's going to happen when you get back. You got to think about how long it takes them
I mean,
to
okay,
get back and
okay.
forth.
We've like compared this to Tom the whole video. So let's go to the video, Tom. Um, would Tom have been like, oh no, Keelan or Ian or whatever, you have to stay with me here? Like when you have like a, college to go to, say.
I just feel like it wasn't solidified with Ian and Rachel to the point where he should have been. I just felt like if he wanted to stay with his dying father, they should have let him stay with his dying father. I just felt like everyone's pushing him out and making decisions for him once again, and that's just my opinion.
Like maybe you're seeing this through the lens of today and how like it's hard to strip out how difficult it is to get back, like to go back there, and that like that kind of a voyage is like a once in a lifetime. It's not like you just get on a plane or a train or whatever and go back there. Like
That's
it's
what I
really
just
like,
said. That's why it's been a really long time. They don't know what's going on with Rachel at this point. It's been a long time since he left her.
I don't think it's been that long. I don't know. I got it. I got it. Like I
I
saw
get a
that
man wanting to
was
stay
like,
with his dying father. I understood that. I was like, what are y'all doing? Like, whatever.
no, I understood. I saw it from Ian's point of view. Maybe not Jenny. Like Jenny kind of doesn't have a leg to stand on with the point of view. It's Ian. It's Ian's life we're talking about here. And if he's like, no, I don't want you to stay here. I want you to live your life. I don't want you to watch me and mine, is what he's saying.
That's what Ian wanted. That's what
Right.
older Ian wanted.
Right. And as younger Ian, I'm gonna listen to that. That resonates.
And to me, younger Ian is an adult enough that they should respect his decision if he wants to stay with his father. If I had to guess, I would say it was more of a case of they were like, this girl accepts you, and you have this whole Mohawk past, you've got a foot in each world, and she accepts you, and you're going to be accepted by probably be able to stay near Jamie and Claire and live this life, and we're not going to worry about you living off in whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure that the Mohawk stuff worried them. So this is like more stability probably. So they're like, yeah, go back and be with this girl.
But you're saying that they didn't want that they shouldn't have wanted her to do that or him to do that.
I'm just saying if a man wants to stay with his dying father, let him stay with his dying father. And what happens when he gets back. But again, it is what it is. So let's move on.
Tell us in the comments, you guys, because we're at a bit of a logger jam here. Tell us what you think in the comments.
Okay.
Because we'll agree to disagree here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're both like, oh my God, there's 4 minutes and 49 seconds and we're hungry.
I know, right? Well, I do have to say, like, okay, so like tears, whatever, then boom, door opens, and it's old Ian, old Diana Ian.
And
But
Ian falls down the stairs. I was like, would somebody please grab him?
No, they just like there's somebody, one of the kids is there, and he's like, "Oh, get away, no," because
he was all done up. Did you see that? He was all done up.
He was all done up. But then
regalia.
the best part is he makes his way all the way over and through the archway to like be like, "Bye." I mean, like we've done that walk. It's not like, I mean, it's not like super far, but if you have one leg and are dying tomorrow or a year from now,
it would
be quite the little effort. And it's just him. Like he's gonna have to make it all the way back on his own. You think somebody would sort of be like hanging out back there for like when they drove away, and he's probably like, okay, I need help now.
Good point.
I thought that was very funny, but the whole ending was just like, oh, it was just so lovely. All right, last part. Roger and Buck get to the healer because there's a healer in town. I don't really know where they are, if they're in Inverness or whatever. They get to the healer. They're like, okay, knock, knock, whatever. Opens the door. A lot of good opening door scenes. Opens the door. And there she is. Okay, I can just tell you that I didn't even know who it was at first. Like for a split second, I was like, Wait, who's this? What? Oh my God.
Yeah. I was immediately.
And and I didn't remember that it was coming because it does, that is part of the book. It's part of Moby. But I just like Roger going, "Oh Christ," when you know things are bad, and he's like, "Oh Christ, Christ." Yeah, it took me a minute to recognize her.
And he's with Buck.
And he's with Buck.
And who's Buck's mom?
I don't know that we know that yet. Do we know that yet? I don't know. It's just gonna get good, you guys. Like clearly, it's gonna get good.
Yes, we know that.
Has Roger ever met Gillis before? I think so at the university in their time.
Well, I got all confused.
She was all rabble-rousing and handing out pamphlets and shit.
And Ian was kidnapped by her, so he must know that whole story. I mean, he knows the whole story.
He knows the story, but I'm saying, has he met her before?
Did he meet her in the present when she went through the
at the university? Well, I think that they saw her at the Stones, but I think he talked to her at the university.
Right.
Because she was like, free Scotland,
right.
Come to my lecture, yada, yada.
Right.
Whatever. And that's it, you guys. That's it. And we have like a minute and 47 seconds left to go.
So
it was a great episode. I thought it was your favorite part, Carol?
Lottie Verbeek. I mean, seeing her show up made my friggin' night.
That was a surprise to me again because I did not I mean, not like I didn't remember, but I didn't expect it.
I'm a fan of gotcha. I'm a fan of, oh no, she didn't. I could not believe it. Like I said, I like new stuff. It was great. I didn't expect it. It was fantastic.
People, but non-book readers, tell us in the comments, like, did you scream? Were you like, oh God, did you expect it? Did you expect to see her? Because there were so many gotcha moments. There were so many unanticipated appearances by, we get Leary, we get Joanie, we get Old Brian, we get Gillis. Like, it's like everybody. What do
we have? 45? Less than a minute.
So, all right. We're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna wrap it up really quickly because we're not gonna start another Zoom here. You guys follow us on YouTube. We're on all the stuff. This is a great episode. Tell us what you think in the comments, and we will see you next week for episode 710. Bye.